Happy spooky season! I'm Caroline, this is Short Skirts and Sarcasm, and this video is my November TBR. And I've got 9 books, and they're mostly spoopy. I wanted to keep the autumnal spoopy vibes going through November because any season is spoopy season if you spoop hard enough. So, as per usual, go through these in alphabetical order by title. And first up is my book club read for this month. This year we're reading books about cats, and so we chose Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. And we've all already read this book. However, it's been a while and we wanted to revisit a classic. Next, I want to read City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. This is the first in the Cassidy Blake, I think it's a trilogy. I have all 3 of them, and this is the first book. It's pretty short. I think it's a YA book. Maybe it's middle grade. I can't remember. But it looks suitably spoopy, and like the story is going to be pretty good. Cass can pull back the veil that separates the living from the dead. When Cass's parents start hosting a TV show about the world's most haunted places, the family heads off to Edinburgh. Here, graveyards, castles, and secret passageways teem with restless phantoms. But when Cass meets a girl who shares her gift, she realizes how much she still has to learn about the veil and herself. And she'll have to learn fast. The City of Ghosts is more dangerous than she'd ever imagined. So, looks promising. I'm excited. Next, I want to read Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and she wrote Mexican Gothic, which I read and loved, so I have high hopes for this. This was a gift last year. It was a Christmas gift from Chloe, whose channel I will put in my description box, and I highly suggest that you follow her because she has great book content and great disability content, and she's just an all-around great person. So go follow her. I'm going to read this while you go follow her. And this is a fantasy historical fiction. The jazz age is in full swing, but Cassiopeia Toon is too busy scrubbing floors in her wealthy grandfather's house to do more than dream of a life far from her small town in southern Mexico, until the day she accidentally frees an ancient Mayan god of death who offers her a deal. In return for Cassiopeia's help in recovering his throne, he will grant her whatever she desires. From the jungles of the Yucatan to the bright lights of Mexico City and deep into the darkness of Chapalba? Maybe. The Mayan underworld. Cassiopeia's adventure will take her on a perilous cross-country odyssey beyond anything she's ever known. So, does that not sound amazing? Jazz Age plus ancient Mayan god and underworld. And then I want to read I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. And I know this has recently been made into a Netflix movie. I haven't seen it. Maybe if I like the book, I'll read the movie. I'll watch the movie. Jake and his girlfriend are on a drive to visit his parents at their remote farm. After dinner at the family home, things begin to get worryingly strange. And when he leaves her stranded in a snowstorm at an abandoned high school later that night, what follows is a chilly exploration of psychological frailty and the limitations of reality. So I really don't know what to expect from this. I've heard a lot of people rave about it and say it's really good. So I'm hoping that I also really like it. It's also pretty short, so I thought I would take that risk for November. And then I want to read In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. This was another gift from Chloe. She had a copy, she read it, and then she gifted it to me. And she said it was a good thriller, but there were like some problems with the plot. So I'm excited to see what I think about it. Nora hasn't seen Claire for 10 years, not since the date Nora walked out of her old life and never looked back. Until out of the blue, an invitation to Claire's hen party arrives. A weekend in a remote cottage, the perfect opportunity for Nora to reconnect with her best friend, but to put the past behind her. But something goes wrong. Very wrong. And as secrets and lies unravel out in the dark, dark wood, the past will finally catch up with Nora. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect, but I'm excited for this. I'm intrigued. And then keeping the dark theme, I want to read Madam by Phoebe Wynne. This is a pretty hyped dark academia book set in Scotland. For 150 years, high above the rocky Scottish cliffs, the Caldenbray Hall has sat untouched, a beacon of excellence in an old ancestral castle. A boarding school for girls, it promises that young women lucky enough to be admitted will emerge resilient and ready to serve society. Into its illustrious midst steps Rose Christie, a 26-year-old classics teacher, Calden Bray's new head of department, and the first hire for the school in over a decade. At first, Rose is overwhelmed to be invited to this institution whose prestige is unrivaled, but she quickly discovers that behind the school's elitist veneer lies an impenetrable, starkly traditional culture that she struggles to reconcile with her modern beliefs, not to mention her commitment to educating girls of the future. It also doesn't take long for Rose to suspect there's more to the secret circumstances surrounding the abrupt departure of her predecessor, woman whose ghost lingers everywhere, than anyone is willing to let on. In her search for this mysterious former teacher, Rose instead uncovers the darkness that beats at the heart of Calden Bray, forcing her to confront the true extent of the school's nefarious purpose and her own role in perpetuating it. So to me, this sounds like Dark Academia Rebecca. Obviously there's no husband here, which is probably for the best because the husband in Rebecca is the worst. But moving on, then I want to read Staracre by Andrew Michael Hurley. And Andrew Michael Hurley is the author of The Lonely, which I read and thought was okay. It has a really strong beginning and middle, but a questionable ending. I was not satisfied by the ending. So I have high expectations for this one, and I think if it doesn't live up to them, I might have to retire Andrew Michael Hurley from my future TBRs. So the worst thing possible has happened. Richard and Juliet Willoughby's son, Ewan, has died suddenly at the age of 5. Staracre, their house by the moors, was to be full of life, but is now a haunted place. Juliet, convinced Ewan still lives there in some form, seeks the help of the Beacons, a seemingly benevolent group of occultists. Richard, to try and keep the boy out of his mind, has turned his attention to the field opposite the house, where he patiently digs in the barren dirt in search of a legendary oak tree. So, this does seem like it has a similar vibe and story arc to The Lonely, like creepy haunted children and occultists. So I am really, hoping for the best here. Then I want to read The Doll Factory by Elizabeth McNeil. And Elizabeth McNeil wrote a book that I really loved this year, Circus of Wonders. I read the arc and it was so good that I bought myself the hardback copy of it because I'm going to reread it because I loved it so much. So this is her first book. And it is another historical fiction, this time set in 1850 in London. On a crowded street, the dollmaker Iris Whittle meets the artist Lewis Frost. Lewis is a pre-Raphaelite painter who yearns to have his work displayed in the Royal Academy, and he is desperate for Iris to be his model. Iris agrees on the condition that he teaches her to paint. Dreaming of freedom, Iris throws herself into this new life of art and love, unaware that she has caught the eye of a second man, Silas Reed. He is a curiosity collector, enchanted by the strange and beautiful. After seeing Iris at the site of the Great Exhibition, he finds he cannot forget her. As Iris's world expands, Silas's obsession grows. It is only a matter of time before they meet again. So this has been, compared to The Miniaturist and The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock, both of which I really enjoyed. So high hopes for this one. And last, this is a reread for me. This is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And I know I just reread this in 2020, last year, but I just can't stay away from it. It's just so good and delightful. So yeah, that's it. Those are the 9 books that I want to read in November. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to see how I get on with this slightly ambitious TBR. So please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.